and I was never quite happy with this. It was a fail-paid poem. And I picked it up and worked on it, and now it's a failed performance piece. It's called Another Day. Walking home, my mind spilling thoughts neither louder nor quieter than my footsteps to those behind closed doors along deserted streets. Nameless people with aimless lives, like you or I, all once seen by someone as the star on which the world would wish. But then we failed to shine, blended in, played the game by someone else's rules, and ended up just marking time. Self-absorbed, our dreams still burn within us, and we kid ourselves. One day, we say, one day. One day, our kids will break the mould, as we grow old, still unfulfilled. They will blaze a trail, defy convention and prevail, rise above the boring anonymity, change the course of history in the way we want it to, still want to. And if they succeed, that's better, isn't it? If my daughter ever hits the heights, that's more than good enough for me. I changed the world by being her dad. It just took longer than I planned, but I'll be cool with that. And if she doesn't, well, she'll be sucked into the system, walk these streets unrecognised, regretting things she never tried, still telling herself dreams can come true, and may well discover, in time, some do. What your children become achieves them for you. Even if they're pawns in someone else's lives, you love them just the same, and can never speak their name without that glowing warmth of pride inside. They'll always strive to find their way. One day, they'll say, one day. So that's that one. The next one has actually got a very similar life, sort of half written, then kept in prison in a drawer for a couple of years and then gone back to. And this is called Perspective. You rage about injustice, the bitter pill wrapped in a candy shell, the trick for which you fell, paid the price. Now tell us all how badly you were done to. Face reality. For once use rationality from the gilded cage of privilege you've done nothing to deserve. If you think life's always fair, you're getting someone else's share, are unaware of how things work for the majority of the world. There's light and dark at every turn, highs and lows, yeses and nos, and most get no more than they deserve. Often, one's perspective is deceptive, not reflective of the truth, without the depth of concept held by those who are less affected. Emotionally charged impressions are not a mirror in which hard proof can be inspected to justify conclusions. Heat of the moment delusion born of false entitlement. There are deeds inflicting grief, people dying for their beliefs, others living on the streets. Your wants and needs and imagined slights are pinpricks in a firefight. A tight call went against you, and you think it was unjust. Be disappointed if you must. Then count each one that went your way. Let your mind paint pictures of the days when joy was never questioned. Wrap them in your health and wealth to make a box of blessings. Then immerse yourself in its contents to wash away your self-obsession. The next one is, some of you will have heard this because I did it at Howell a few months ago. I've made a deliberate decision not to do anything tonight that I've ever done here before, but I have done this at Howell, so one or two of you will have heard it. And it's, you'll think by the title that it's sort of autobiographical. It's not. It's called Mr. Loverman. I study photos from teenage days. Most people change with age, but in many ways, it's true, I haven't. All through life, at every stage, just to look at me induced an orgasm. Beauties flock like moths to flame. I don't have to lift a finger, and who can blame them, with my Hollywood looks and my muscular frame, topped with hair of ginger. Some call me vain, but that's a myth. I'm just a fucking realist. I know how hard it is for women to resist my charm, stay calm in the midst of such temptation. My fame will sweep the nation, cause outbreaks of masturbation, and suffer deprivation. I understand the desperation, because with me, it's not just looks, it's but magnetic personality, bringing adulation. The woman of my dreams, who can't be named for fear of reprisals, an outburst of hate from angry rivals, described me as an elegant gent. Okay, it was less than perfect when her speech impediment made it sound like arrogant cunt. But I knew what she meant. And I think she is concerned that it didn't come out right, because all my calls are unreturned. And when I turned up at her door, she slammed it in my face, as if she felt disgraced and couldn't take it anymore. Once, she even called the cops, as if her error was a crime. But they didn't understand. They roughly cuffed my hand when I wouldn't leave the scene, told me I could end up doing time. And now, I can't afford a decent lawyer to fight the bloody restraining order. Back to serious stuff now, and this is a bit reflective, I suppose, in more ways than one. It's called Why. I've searched relentlessly, never shirked responsibility for finding where we fell apart. Long hours turning into days, then weeks, not knowing where to start. I've crouched into corners of a cacophony of recollections, tried to make connections as I slowly turned the pages of old diaries, make inquiries between the lines and in the margins, between the covers of the days when we were lovers, before the mother of your doubt came marching in. Yet nothing becomes apparent. There were no warning signs, no forecast of a stormy end, and I tend to put it down to fate, until I realise I find belief in that unwise, and I'd hate to have to compromise. The reason has to be there, of course, silently screaming the score from somewhere wholly unexpected, and hence remaining undetected. So I'll continue trying, prevent myself from crying at the torture it inflicts, as it depicts itself as innocent to the mind it taunts and twists. I must be able to trace these scars. I was there, saw for myself, lived through the rise and fall of something so intense it conquered all and then consumed itself. How can I not recall events which drew the map to where we are, a place where nothing matters except how far we fell? I knock a mirror to the floor. It's shattered into shards like the promises we made. It's hard to face what people say. But I'm pausing for reflection. This breakage probably cost me my greatest opportunity of a clear sight of the cause. Another change of mood now. Living in Yokel'sville, as I do, I do get some comments about my accents, and it's mainly good-natured. You know, it's I give as good as I get. Occasionally, people overstep the mark a little bit, and I stand there thinking, "Have you listened to yourself?" And this is called accents. How can an island like Britain, the size of a spunk stain on a map of ours or the States, have so many distinct dialects? Some a delight when in full flow, others, well, not quite so, making the speaker sound devoid of intellect and eliciting precious little interest in what is said. I'm from Brum and wear that badge with pride. I don't say Boston, as I'm not an actor mistaking Brummie for black country because my research went awry. But at least I don't sound like I belong on a tractor, crunching carrots and drinking cider, though I know someone who does, and never did deride her until the other day. What did she say to make me feel this way? To make the decision to respond with derision? Try, "I hates the man who lives next door. He do have an accent just like yours." Well, charming, I thought. Then replied, "Clearly you do's like local yokels to be more vocal than those from outside the parish, what looks beyond the family when planning to get married. I shouldn't realise I knows." "No, it's not that," she said, "but I think he should be stabbed when he refers to me as Bab. I was led on the bed counting on my fingers the number of times what he said it, and I counted far too many. 12 to be specific. I wisely just ignore the apparent inference that she sleeps with someone for whom she is at best indifferent, and claim to hate because of his accent. Another thing what makes Swindon grand, I mean it, is you get an extra finger on each hand. She grimaced. There be no need for that, she cried, as she pointed daggers with her eyes to cut Miss Thicko down to size. She is her father's brother's bride, which is, in Swindon, a source of pride. I'm sorry, but you insulted me. Went too far. Could have made me blart. I opined. She didn't know what blart meant, so wrote it on a piece of parchment, to ask her half-brother, her uncle's son, before he did her up the bum. To me, old chum, your family sound incestuous and dumb, but you just seem to take them as they come. And the last one is a lot more serious. This was actually written, I read a piece in the New Statesman last week, and it sort of got me thinking. And this is called Neighbour. Imagine your neighbour, let's call him Mick. You don't really know him, he keeps himself to himself and never reveals what makes him tick. He seems a regular guy, works hard at his business and adores his kids, 5 of them, 4 girls and a boy, all with ambitions for when they're grown, to be doctors, teachers, successful people just like your own, proud of their dad as he works every muscle, every bone to bring the money home. You know in your heart that if the bad men came, took his girls away, and named the sum he had to pay to buy them back from slavery, you'd do all you could to help him get them back. True, you hardly know him, but he's a decent guy. He never did you any harm, and you'd rightly be alarmed that such evil could penetrate the calm of a peaceful British town. If you'd seen it coming, their escape would have been secured, because that's how decent people work, for sure. But his name's not Mick, it's Abu Majed, a Yazidi who lives in a village near Mount Sinjar, and he's broken, because all the rest is true. His friends have rallied round, but they're drowning in tragedies of their own, and can only offer tokens now everything has gone. People with once prosperous lives face impossible odds just to survive. Desperate people like Abu Majed will risk what's left of their shattered lives to escape to safety in another land. No one wants them. Their name's not Mick or Marge, so that good old matey Nigel Farage tells us they're rapists, thieves in victims' camouflage. Racists and xenophobes in editors' chairs find every possible way to scare us. They want our jobs, our benefits. They're extremists who will indoctrinate our innocent kids. They'll get free homes and we'll go homeless. Stories believed by the morally spineless, who are more interested in 16-year-old tits and borderline child porn than they are in those who'd be better off unborn. We can't take them, they've been taught to think. We can't share our wealth and privilege. We're overcrowded as it is. So tell me, if you can, what it is that distinguishes Mick from Abu and his kids, without outing a brainless bigot. I'll come to a different conclusion and show you a master of self-delusion. Thank you.